Hey everybody, in the car again. I shoot a lot of film out here because I'm in the car a lot. But what this is pretty much going to end up being is a series of snippets of things that I wish I would have known or been able to find on YouTube, you know, pretty clearly. Things about fishing from a kayak that you might not really think of. So let's get started. Number one is going to be the safety thing. So obviously, if you really wanted to, you could get out and just buy a kayak, get you a paddle, take your rods out to the water and get going. But it's a little more complicated than that. If you were to get out there and get on the water and, you know, a member of law enforcement or safety enforcement were to come out and find you without a life jacket or without an alert whistle, then you could probably get yourself a ticket because, as we all know, not knowing the law isn't a prohibition from having to follow it. So make sure when you get your kayak, or before you even get it, to look into the different type of safety things that you'll have to carry on it. Life jacket, whistles, flashlights, lanterns. If you're fishing at night, then there's all sorts of different lights and things that you have to have on the boat to keep yourself safe. And inside the law. But safe is more important because you don't want to be out there and be invisible essentially to a larger craft and get hit, and that would just be disastrous. Whether you're fishing by yourself or with some friends in the kayaks, the thing to remember is your line placement. It's really easy when you're fishing fluorocarbon line or, you know, a low visibility braid line to lose track of where you're casting or where your friends may be casting. And especially if you're fishing off the bottom or using a float, and you're spinning a bait somewhere, you can definitely lose track of where a fish might run into once he hooks up. So keep in mind that when one of your friends hooks up, if you're out fishing in groups or if you've got multiple lines in the water yourself, to bring in those other lines first to help minimize, you know, getting multiple lines tied up at once, so that you can land more fish and then get those lines right back out as soon as you get them to land and to the boat. Organization's kind of a big deal in the kayak. Ours is only 10 feet. We're pretty much confined to the space of our milk crate. We've got a couple of small cubbies and our lap space and the area around our feet and between our knees. But otherwise, that's pretty much all we can take with us. So we make sure that every extra inch counts, and everything that we take with us has its purpose and its place, and that we always know where we put it, because, you know, we might be fighting a fish and need our net or need the grippers or something like that and not be able to find them and lose it, or, you know, injure the fish in some way, and just because we just weren't organized and weren't keeping up with our things. So make sure that you know what you have and where you've got it, so that you can, you know, make efficient use of your time on the water. So here's just a recommendation. If you want to fish with a float on your kayak, but you want to fish it deep. I know it's summer right now here in Texas, and a lot of the fish are going to be deep. I like to fish for catfish when it's hot out, because, you know, they're always going to be nice and deep in the shady, cool places. That means I can sit in the shady, cool places too. But a thing I learned the other day was fish with a slip bobber. You know, it allows you to change your depth up pretty good, and it allows you to make a lot easier casts. You don't have to have, you know, 8 feet of leader line like I was trying to cast with the other day. You can just cast it down there right off, you know, the top of the hook. So use a slip sinker bobber. And maybe I'll show you a video of knots here before too long. I'll have to learn some more knots, I guess. I don't use too many myself. But yeah, that's kind of what I came up with today. You know, it was titled part 1, so there is going to be a part 2. I do have a couple of other things, but I'm going to separate them off and put them with another list. So, sometimes you gotta look things up a bit better when you start a new project, you know, kayaking. But, you know, like always, give us a subscribe, follow us on Facebook, at Captain Longbong, at Dr. Hotbox, and keep those lines wet.